Ooh, you went live quick.
All right, we are live. Hey everyone, it's Avina, aka Miss WC Reader, and I'm here with the lovely Alicia.
Hi.
And we're just pretty much going to hop right into some 30-minute sprints. You can read, write, be productive, whatever you got to do. I know for me, I have an application to fill out, and I have a few emails I need to send. So I'm going to be working on that for the 30 minutes, and then I will check back in with you guys. What are you up to today, Alicia?
I will be finishing up the last of the Atlanteans because I have an interview with the author on February 3rd on my channel.
Ooh, that one is a thick one.
Yeah. That's why it's taking me so long to read it, is because I'm tabbing it and taking notes and questions and stuff like that. So it's taking me a lot longer than it would if I was just reading it.
Yeah, because you always want to make sure you're asking good interview questions. And I
Yep.
know for me, like, I have not done an interview since October, so that's something else I want
I
to work
love the
on.
interview you did, though.
Yeah, I have not done interviews since October, so I want to also start putting together some questions for different authors so I can send out inquiries.
That's a good idea. I'm so
Yeah,
shocked when authors tell me yeah. I'm like, I just shoot my shot, and I'm always surprised when they say yes. I'm
yeah,
like,
that's what I try to
okay.
do, shoot my shot, but I like to kind of start prepping the questions so I have at least some of them down before I go and shoot my shot.
Right, exactly, same.
Hey, Mr. Rosuri. So we're going to
Hi.
hop into 30-minute sprints. I set the timer. And it's a lovely little forest timer. Catch you guys in 30. Ooh, that one was a little loud at the end there. I see some more people came through. Oh, Chelsea from Mellon. Hey, Chelsea. Oh, Shay came through earlier. Hey, Shay. And Maya came through, and so she's reading Family Lore. Ooh, I hope you enjoy it.
That's on my list for February.
Yeah, I need to start putting together my February TBR because there's just so many books that I'm interested in reading.
Yeah. Same.
Yes, we are staying hydrated and warm. At least I know I am. I just actually
Yes.
turned down the heat because I had the heat up pretty high. It's a winter wonderland here for those who don't know.
It's 9 degrees here right now.
Yeah, I think they said it was a high of maybe 18 today. So it's a little bit colder. Yesterday was not as bad actually because I was out in the snow with the kids for a little bit.
Yesterday wasn't bad.
I was not cold when I was out there with the kids. It's funny because I went over and I got my nieces, and because I knew their parents were at work, nobody was going to take them. My aunt's not going to take them outside. She's older.
Right.
And she hates the cold. So I get bring the kids over to my house and because I have an enclosed backyard so they can run around.
Nice.
And I take the littlest one. She is 5. We're out there for 10 minutes and she's like, I'm ready to go home. Like, this snow is cold. She's like, hold me. She said, winter is not my season. I prefer summer.
At least she knows.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta give her credit for knowing.
You know, it is cold outside for her. I'm not going to force nobody to be out in the cold. But
Exactly.
The other one who is 6, she wanted to play still. So I put the little one inside in the house. I took off all her snow gear, gave her a blanket, put her in front of the fireplace and the TV. I said, we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Oh, and she was set.
Yeah, because then I came in, we had hot cocoa, we had nachos. She didn't want the loaded nachos. She just wanted plain chips.
Kids are funny.
Yeah, so that was funny, but we had a good afternoon. Their mom was happy, like I returned them fed and everything.
Yeah. One less thing she has to worry about.
Yeah, because by the time I came home, their mom was back and she was just so happy they were fed and everything.
Yeah.
And they got to have a good day. They were excited to have the day off from school because that was their 4th day off in a row.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, since they had the long weekend,
yeah,
it worked out perfectly for them. Ash is here. Hey, Ash.
Hi.
Shay said she's getting her TBR figured out today too. Today was the first day I didn't wake up with a negative or like 4 days.
Yeah, it's supposed to Saturday here. It's supposed to be -3. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, you guys are getting it pretty bad down south.
Very oddly, like usually it totally misses us. Like I was telling you before we went live, like how are we getting more snow than you guys are? Like,
well, I know Shay is in Oklahoma where it's pretty cold because I didn't realize Oklahoma got cold like that till like a couple of years ago. I was at Disney and it was November. It was November, and I was talking to this family, and they're like, "Yeah, back home it's snowing right now."
That's crazy.
And I'm like, "Snowing? I thought it was supposed to be warm down south."
Well, the funny thing is like temperature wise, it's not that far of a difference from where you're at. But like, it's just if the storm decides to hit us or not, it's kind of like a Russian roulette kind of thing.
And then you're getting more snow than we are.
That's it. That's bonkers. Usually it's the opposite.
Y'all's getting admin stuff knocked out so she can have a clear mind for writing. Yeah. Now that I did my little applications, luckily the county website pre-filled everything. It didn't, like how normally they used to make you put in everything like manually. They pre-filled everything from my previous application with them a couple years ago. So I just had to tweak some things and re-upload my resume.
Yeah.
And it went pretty quick, and I was able to apply for 2 jobs. I just applied for like 2 similar positions.
Yay!
So that was good. Got that done. Went and got a drink, and I started writing some questions for an upcoming author interview, so now I'm going to hop back into writing for the next sprint.
Yay!
Real field temperature in 18 with wind chills at 18 miles an hour. Ooh, 18 miles an hour. It got windy last night.
The wind is the scary part. The one night I thought my windows were going to break. It was so windy. Like I could just hear my windows rattling. And I was just like, oh God, like, please don't break.
Well, I put a cover on my windshield and I was concerned it was going to fly away because it kept like slipping out. Like, even though like you put the flaps in the door, it was so windy, it was pulling it from the windshield.
It's been crazy the past couple days.
Yeah, she's a December baby too. Her sister's like, she's a December baby. I don't know how she likes summer but she is just like, no, I want to be inside.
I want to be warm sitting in front of the TV.
She said the snow was too cold for her. She made one snow angel and that was enough.
Oh, my little siblings went they went sledding yesterday, but my dad sent me video of them sledding.
We still have our sled from when we were kids, but it's more like decoration because it was like one of those old school wooden sleds, and my grandma had given it to us.
Yeah,
so, like,
I had one too.
It's too old to actually go like play on, so it's just more like decoration.
It's just there for like sentimental value.
Yeah. One day, my mom will probably like restore it and use it for her Christmas decor.
That would be awesome.
Yes, Shay just announced the Missy Elliott readathon for those who did not.
I'm so excited.
Her video. I was like waiting too for her to drop her announcement.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm so excited.
I was like waiting. I'm like, when's she going to drop it? Because I want to figure out my February TBR by looking there first.
Well, this one technically I'm starting now because my Nicole's book club, the Who Picked This book club, our first book for the year is Indigo.
So when are you guys?
This is a reread for me.
For that,
it'll be the 7th of February, and then 2 weeks after that will be the Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton.
Yeah,
is it Burton? I always mess up her last name.
Yeah, Gabby Burton. I will be on that live one.
I'm so excited because it looks beautiful, and I've heard fantastic things from you.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty quick read for me. I read that in like 2 days. Probably one of the fastest reads like I had in like last year.
I need a fast read because everything I'm reading is like, I'm loving everything I'm reading. It's just taking time.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has been taking time for me. Like, that was the fastest non-audiobook read, I should say. Usually the audiobooks take me a little quicker.
That's why I love audio.
Yeah, Shay said she just finished Family Lore 2.
I cannot wait. It's on my, I'm going to fit it in for the Missy Elliott readathon. I haven't watched your video yet, so don't spoil, but I'm going to put it in for the Missy Elliott readathon.
Let's see, hey y'all on work. Yep, we are here to do work too, so get your work done. And Emma says she's enjoying it so far. Just get used to switching POVs. Yeah, I think that's what threw people off with Family Lore is that there are a lot of POVs and they switch between chapter. And at first they sound a little similar, so it takes a little bit of time to get used to. It's not one that I would say just completely sit and do audio. I would probably like at least have the book so that you can look.
Yeah.
Because I had an ebook copy, but then I ended up listening with the audio for parts of it, and then I went back and I was reading
parts. Do the audio for that one?
What?
Do you know if the Elizabeth Acevedo does the audiobook for that one?
She does. She and somebody else, although the person who did it with her sounded a little similar so I can't remember who the person was.
Okay. Because I remember I read the Poet X through audio and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, she does it with somebody else and they have similar sounding voices. But yeah, that one too, it's also a non-linear timeline.
I love that though.
I like non-linear timelines, but they can trip you up if you're not like
right. If you're not paying attention.
It too. So I think that took that was a little much for some people too, because they're you're not based off the premise people are going in expecting it to just go right in one direction. That's not how it's going.
And everybody, I think a lot of people went into it. I mean, this is just from what I watched on YouTube, but a lot of people I think went into it thinking it was YA because she's done a lot of YA before, and they were very surprised with I guess the subject matter. And I'm like, but it's her adult book.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like a lot of people, because they're so used to her YA writing, went in thinking it's going to read exactly like her YA, just older aged people, and it does not.
Yeah, but I like that though. It shows her range.
Yeah, she really just wrote these people completely different, took some risks. Some characters are a little weird.
Yeah, that's realistic.
But it everybody had their personality. It's just because they're from the same family, they're all a little similar at first. So that takes time to get into.
Yeah.
And Shay said she finally started The World We Make.
I haven't started it yet, but I'm planning on it. You're okay. Everybody's watching the lives, getting my TBR for readathon already because that's on my TBR as well. Because I loved the first one.
And said she might be reading that next month.
Yeah.
Oh, Shay said she is definitely going to be reading These Sunken Souls and Beasts of Prey. I need to read These Sunken Souls. I've tried twice now to start it. I just did not like the first story in that collection. So then I ended up putting it aside. But it's on Hoopla, for those of you who have Hoopla.
These Sunken Souls?
Yeah, it's These Sunken Souls, it's a YA horror anthology.
Ooh, that's all you horror you've got me.
Didn't like the first story, and it kind of threw me off from reading it, but I might hop back into that, and if Shay's reading it next month, because then I'll have somebody to discuss with and help push me to get back into it.
Let me see if I can find it through my Hoopla. These Sunken Souls.
Oh, All These Sunken Souls.
All These Sunken Souls. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Put that back.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, put that in. You should find that on Hoopla. They have the ebook. It does not have an audiobook at this time.
Okay. Okay, it's not that long. I'll put it in my favorites so I know to borrow it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that long. It's short stories. It's just like I said, that first one kind of threw me off, and then my moods for reading have been all over the place the past few months.
Yeah. And I've really liked that they updated their stuff so you can get it. I have a Kindle Fire, so I can read my Hoopla ebooks on my Kindle Fire, which makes it easier because I have problems with my eyes. So it makes it easier so I can make it a little bit bigger so I can see.
That's good. Yeah, that's the thing with family lore. It will confuse you if you at first getting to know all those characters if you're just doing audio, just because like I said, between between her and the other narrator, they kind of sound similar, and then because they're all related, they naturally they sound a little bit similar because they have somewhat similar experiences.
Yeah. My grandmother, my mother, and myself, we all get mistaken for each other on the phone. I'm like, no, because we all sound alike.
Yeah, and it's the mannerisms and everything is similar.
Yeah.
So for me, when I was doing when I first started, I had to go back in, read a couple chapters physically, and then jump back into the audio.
I've noticed that with a lot of books lately. I've had to do that.
There's certain books I feel like sometimes you have to start it physically, and then once you get the gist of it, then you can move on to the audio.
Because you told me to do that with Forging a Nightmare. I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head.
Yeah, by Trisha Jackson. Yeah. Forging Nightmare is another one. I just recommend until you kind of get into the story, start it with your eyes, and then you can listen to it once everything's kind of established, and it flows a little better.
You sold me when you told me she was a horse person because I grew up around horses. So
yeah, she's a big horse person. She's a teacher out of York, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And, there right now, her particular school is where all the book bans are in Pennsylvania.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
like, it's crazy because I was watching some stats and it said that Pennsylvania was like one of the highest when it came to book bans, but they're
Which
all
is so odd to me because if you look at how Philadelphia, how Pennsylvania falls politically, you would think the opposite.
Yeah, no, but they're all concentrated in that one school district.
It's nuts.
That's the crazy part. I'm like the parents at that school are just going and challenging every single book just because. And that's the one that she works at. So like she and her students have been really like for the past 2 years working hard against these book bans. Like they've been all over TV. I think they even have like another book coming out just talking about like fighting these book bans. It's been such a huge thing for them the past couple of years.
So is Forging a Nightmare her first book, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Like she did like some light Star Wars short story stuff in the past.
Okay, that's why I recognize her name because my boyfriend loves Star Wars, so that's why okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I know she
that makes sense.
She did another Star Wars short story I think last year, but she did like some like of the Star Wars short stories before, and then
that's why I recognize
like novel.
Yeah, while we're driving, sometimes we listen to like audiobooks of the short stories and the Star Wars verse, I guess you would call it, because it's so big now.
Yeah, Maya said she found it on her Libby too. That's good.
I love when you can find, especially in my area, because books are harder to get in my area. So I was like, yes.
My Libby used to be good, and then I guess they invested more.
My Libby sucks.
My Libby sucks now. I feel like they invested. It used to be good in
Hoopla
like
was great.
Yeah, I feel like it used to be good 2020 through 2021, and then I think they shifted to putting more money into Hoopla because we have a lot of. I have a pretty good Hoopla, and I know like Hoopla is in tiers, so depending on what tier your library buys, the more stuff you have, and we have a lot on our Hoopla because we have
a lot of stuff. But my biggest complaint, I don't want to call it a complaint because I don't want to sound ungrateful, is like I hear all these people that have 15 holds a month, and I'm like, Hoopla.
Yes, I am on where 15 holds a month on Hoopla because that's why I feel like they put more money into Hoopla for us than they put into.
I have 4 a month. I'm like, I'm so jealous. I mean, it's fantastic for me, but I'm so jealous at the same time.
Yeah, I have 15 instant borrows and then 5 what's called flex borrows, which are specific marked books.
Yeah, I have 4 and 4, so 4 for the flexed and 4 for regular borrows.
Yeah, so my Hoopla is pretty good. Like it's my Libby that's like I said, they're really not putting the money into it.
Like it's great for certain things, but here's the funny thing: like considering that I live in a conservative area, they have more like books with a lot of smut in it than you would think. Like the smut is abound, which is fantastic, but like it's just like, how come I can't get this book, but everything that's got smut on it or a man shirtless on the cover you can get?
My library has not been buying like anything on Libby I want lately, so then I use the Free Library of Philadelphia because for PA residents, even if you don't live in Philly, everybody can get a library card for the Free Library of Philadelphia.
I'm gonna ask my uncle if I can use his address.
Yeah, you just got to have a PA address, and then you can get your card. And I ended up going in person to get my card because I think like they give you like a temporary card, then you have to go in and renew it after like a year.
I hate to go on a tangent, but I love that library. That library is so gorgeous. Like the Philadelphia Public Library is just
the main
it's like a work of art when you walk in there.
It's like a little museum when you go in.
It's beautiful. Have you ever gone in the rare books room?
No, I don't think I've been in there yet.
It's like an hour-long tour because of how much of a book person you are. I think you would love it. Like they have, even though I'm not religious, they have like original copies of the Bible. Like it's just cool to see like these vellum copies of books. And they have a lot of like original Edgar Allan Poe because he lived like a block away from where the library is now.
Yeah, I want to go to the Edgar Allan Poe Museum. I have not made it there yet.
Yeah, I've been to the one in Philly. I want to go to the one in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, but my like Libby, I just use theirs because they get a little bit more books. I mean, they have obviously a longer wait time because of so many people using that library, but they are more likely to get the book faster than my
Yeah.
library.
When the Brooklyn Library I used to have one through the Brooklyn Library before they stopped that program, which I completely understand. But like, I would put on a hold for my libraries here. It would come in so much faster through the Brooklyn Library than my library here.
Yeah, I just wish like the free library of Philly had Hoopla too, but I'm like glad that
No.
my main library has Hoopla because I can't really get into the like most of the
But
time.
it's so funny. Like, I don't know about yours, but like, I can even get like audiobooks of self-pub authors that I follow.
Yeah, like that's the nice thing about
It's
Hoopla.
awesome.
What Chelsea from Written Ellen had pointed out to me, she said if the author uploads their book with Ingram Sparks, then it also automatically gets uploaded to Hoopla.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love it. Because I was not expecting, because down here, I wasn't expecting much. And then I'm seeing all these self-pub authors. I'm like, take, gonna borrow, gonna borrow, gonna borrow.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I like Hoopla. Like there is one that I saw from that I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy on Kindle because I'm not doing KU right now because I don't feel like I'm going to use it enough.
Yeah.
So I saw
I've been
some
using it so
authors
much more lately.
yeah, I see some authors that I want to read and they're on and the books are on Hoopla, so that had me excited.
Yeah.
I hope your library gets Hoopla soon. It's really good.
When I moved here, they only had Libby, and then they moved to using both. When in like 2021, I want to say I moved here in 2020, and they started with just Libby, and then they moved to both. I just wish we had more holds.
Maybe they'll put more money into it and you'll get more holds.
I know a lot of people that use it, especially like some of the people that live in my neighborhood that can't see. They use it for their Kindle and stuff, like to blow up the words.
I have not tried Scribd yet. Like right now, I'm not paying for any services between NetGalley giving me so many arcs. Well, actually, a lot of times I don't even have to put in the request on NetGalley. I'm on a lot of mailing lists, so they'll send me they'll email me the widget instead.
Yeah.
So that I can just automatically get the book.
Okay, here's an odd question because I've had authors send me a widget and then not be able to open it on my computer or my Kindle. Like it just refuses to open.
I don't think they did it right then because they're supposed to approve your email for access to it.
Yeah.
Like the widget only works if your email was approved by the publisher for access.
Okay, that's probably why, because the author sent it to me directly.
So I don't know if I don't know if when they emailed it to you, they talked to their publisher first to make sure that your email is on the approval list.
Yeah, that might be it.
Because
I physically got it. I just couldn't open it. Like it said, file unable to open on your device. Every time I tried to open it, I was like, darn it.
Yeah, because once
we got it to work,
it should open up
me a different file, but
and then it should automatically just say read it. It should have a button that says read it, and then you push the read it button to get the book.
Okay, because it's only happened twice with two authors. Because I've had it another time and it worked fine. So it must have just been that.
Yeah, so right now a lot of the publicity mailing, like emailing lists, are where I get the majority of my books, and then the library is the rest.
Yeah. The one author was pissed though. She's like, "You're the first person on my list because of my first name starts with an A and my last name starts with an A." So she's like, "You're the first person on my list. How did they not give you access?" She was angry. I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit of back and forth too, from what I noticed, because I had an author friend like who she was really making sure like her readers got to read the arc.
Right.
And it took I was seeing so many people get the book before me, and she's like, I specifically told them to put you first.
That's what she told me. She was like, "You didn't get," because I messaged her like a day after she said she sent it out. Her publisher sent it out, and I said they never sent it to me, and she got. She's like, "You're specifically the first one. What's going on?"
Yeah, I am all over the place reading this month. I put 10 books on my TBR,
Yeah,
So
you did
far,
have you had a large TBR.
yeah, so far I've read 4. 5 will be done today because I was listening when I wasn't doing stuff with the kids yesterday. I was listening to Deadly to the Core. That book's really not great. Like I really, which is weird because I really enjoyed another series by the author, but
Is
now
it
like
Cozy Mystery?
yeah, this
I can just tell by the title.
yeah. Well, like sometimes it can be really good, interesting characters, and sometimes it can be really flat.
Yeah.
And this one is really flat, which is weird because her other series was really good. And now I'm wondering if it's just been so long since I've read that series. I might find
Your
might
tastes have
find it
just
boring if
changed.
I go
Yeah.
into
Well,
it.
I felt so bad because one of my first DNS of the year was a Cozy Mystery. I just couldn't. I was 2 hours into the audiobook and I'm like, I hate this. Like, this is bad.
Yeah, if I wasn't almost done with the audiobook, I would have DNF because I'm just like, I don't care about these people.
Well, that's the thing. Like, because everybody's biggest complaint with Cozy Mysteries is that the main character always seems nosy. But this character was like, I don't know how else to say this, but like, those characters that are just like too stupid to live.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this character was, and I was just like, I can't stand you.
Yeah, those can be really annoying and cozy.
Like, I'm like, you have a business degree, but yet you're acting so dumb right now. Like, please stop. And I felt really bad because I've been specifically trying to find more cozies, like not in the specific areas that most cozies are in. Like the reason I picked this one up was it was based in the next town over from where I live. So I was like, okay, fun, blah 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 blah. The most boring thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, that's like the struggle. So let's hop into another 30-minute.
Perfect.
Uh,
Hi, Paco.
go ahead and share my screen. And we're gonna go another 30 minutes. See you guys in a little bit.
Bye.
All right. So how did everybody do that sprint? I got some writing done. I just need to calculate how many words I wrote.
That's always the hard part for me.
I wrote down my starting amount. I just need to subtract now.
I got to 40% and 2.5 chapters done.
That's good.
Yeah.
So when did you say your interview was?
February 3rd with P.L. Stewart.
So you have plenty of time to finish it and come up with questions.
Because I have to physically read it, I've just been like doing 2 chapters a night just so I don't like overwhelm myself as it gets closer.
Yeah, it is hard lately for me to sit and physically read a book and like not take days on end.
Yeah, same. I don't know why. Like other things I can quickly physically read, but specifically with like fantasy and sci-fi, I have to read it slower.
My concentration just is not what it used to be reading physically, which I feel like it flipped because I used to be real good at sitting and reading a physical book, and I was like getting bad at reading ebooks, and now it flipped.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? How it switches up. I have a recommendation for you. I'm only 180 pages in, but I don't have it with me. No, I don't have it with me. It's called The Spear Cuts Through Water, by Simon Jimenez. It is lyrical writing, but it's like you could tell he's a musician.
Yeah,
but it's not like so purple that the stuff doesn't make sense. It's really interesting.
I'm just checking to see what the page count is. Yeah, 544. That will take me a while.
Yeah. The audiobook is fantastic. Yep. I can recommend the audiobook. And they have different narrators, so it's easy to tell what character's head you're in at certain points.
I'll add it to my ever-growing TBR. It just takes me longer to read the long books.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Like, this year, I'm on a low buying year because everything's expensive. So I'm trying to read everything that I already own, and everything I own is really, really big. Like, I don't own a lot of, like, in between.
Yeah, I have bought anything. No, I have not bought anything yet this year. No, I lied. I bought a book earlier this year, but technically I bought it with Kindle credit that I had.
Yeah, so like how
if you have Prime, they're like, if you wait a day for it to ship, you get $1.
You get $1.50 towards digital. Yeah. So I use it even for renting a movie for my younger siblings when I was still living at home.
Yeah, so that's the only books I bought lately have been that way for the month.
I only bought one. It fell. Hold on. It fell under the table. Bear with me, Mom.
I did do some writing that last round. I calculated it. I wrote 273 words, so that's not bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There we go.
I had switched back to writing my fantasy earlier this week, but now
that was gonna be my question. Which book are you working on?
Well, I figured because of the snow, it would be good to hop back into my romance.
Yeah.
I wanted to do just like a little snowy chapter. So we had a December surprise snowstorm.
I love it. This is the only book that I've purchased so far.
Son of the Darkness
by Gaurav Mohanty.
That's a nice edition.
Yeah. I'm not normally like big on editions, but you know how like Barnes and Noble had their 50% off sale after Christmas. I just looked and this was on there. Prior to this, he was a self-published author. So I've read other works by him. So when I saw this like traditionally published, I kind of like freaked out. So I had to buy it because I've spoken to him a couple times and he's absolutely lovely.
That's good.
Yeah. It's just really cool when you can see your acquaintances get picked up for Trad Pub.
Yeah. Or when you see your like author Facebooks out in the wild, and you, especially if you've like spoken
It's
to
so
them before.
great. It's the best.
Like I made a lot of author friends now, so like I'm seeing their books out and about.
Is it
So, like if
awesome?
I'm like at the train station and I see their book, like I'll snap a picture and send
I
it.
do the same thing. Who published this one?
Oh, so we had some more people come in.
Everybody popped
The
in like towards
lady
the
came
end.
in. Hello.
Hi, Kiana.
Reason. Hey, beautiful. Hey.
Hi, Kay. I was just thinking about you earlier today.
Beautiful reads. Hello, hello.
Hi.
I haven't written anything, but I was able to listen to 3 chapters of Financial Feminist while making lasagna and do dishes. That's good. You were productive.
It's productive. That's
did
okay.
audio. You listened to some audio. You made a whole lasagna, and you did the dishes.
And secret that I'm going to put out on the internet, I'm not good at making lasagna considering that I'm Italian. Lasagna is not my forte.
I don't think I've ever made a lasagna myself.
I've made like I guess you would call it like a vegetarian one.
Mm-hmm.
I made one with eggplant instead of noodles.
I don't really like ricotta either, so
that hurts my soul, but I understand.
it's like it's not my favorite thing, and I feel like a lot of people sometimes some people make their ricotta too dry.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah,
the best lasagna I had, I think they made it with mascarpone.
Mascarpone is amazing. I would eat it on anything. You could put it on a shoe and I would eat it.
Because like I remember in school they used to make a lasagna, but they used to not make it with ricotta, and it was so good.
I'll have to try that because that sounds amazing.
So I think it was mascarpone that they made it with instead of ricotta.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I was good at making that. I'm good at making other Italian dishes.
I made chicken Alfredo the other night. I had cream that I had heavy cream that I had to use up. So yeah. I tried to. I'm like, okay, well, I have heavy cream, but I'm not trying to make a quiche, so let me just make Alfredo sauce.
Hey, make it work. Those are my best meals that I just like throw together last minute. The ones that I plan out always turn out to be a disaster.
Well, I like making a good quiche. That's like my go-to fancy breakfast item.
What do you like in your quiche?
I usually do like a smoked salmon and veggies.
Yum. I do bacon and like sauteed onions in mine.
But yeah, the nice thing about quiche though is you can just do it with a variety of different.
You can do it with anything.
I've made it with avocado before.
And it's like it can be for meat eaters and vegetarians. You can tailor it to whoever you're looking for.
My mom and sister don't eat meat, so when I do the quiche for them, I don't do meat. I usually just do different cheeses.
I made the last one I made was with broccoli,
and
it was really, really good, and a bunch of different cheeses.
And pretty much all cheeses work in a quiche too. So
absolutely. Quiche is delicious.
Yeah. The lady said she's reading Stamped. Which version of Stamped are you reading? I know there's like a few.
Yeah, now they came out, I think this year with the Stamped Baby one. I saw it at Target.
Yeah, I think the baby one came out last year, but they had like the baby, the graphic novel, the YA.
Because the YA one was done with Jason Reynolds, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think they had 2 YA ones actually.
I only have the original. I haven't read it yet.
It's the shortened version. The red one goes in more detail. Yeah, because that's what I was wondering. Because I'm like, there's just so many editions of Stamped.
I have the big chunky one.
The 16 is it similar to 1619? I have not read the 1619. Actually, the author kind of gets on my nerves who wrote the 1619, so that's why I haven't read that one. She said some really weird stuff about teachers, like during the height of pandemic, that just felt insensitive to teachers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
like about them having to, and it was like specifically when the teachers in Chicago were like fighting to have to go into the school with no
Right.
proper ventilation.
Well, they should have. That's illegal. First off, like they can't make them go to school if
Yeah.
there's no ventilation.
Yeah, like you know how bad things got like
Yeah.
height of COVID. They were just trying to make the teachers.
COVID in general was bad, and then
Yeah.
add that on top of it, and that's just an extra.
Yeah, and then I feel like some people just did not have the compassion for them because it's people who were like sitting at home who didn't have to go in the office were like the least compassionate about people who had to go in.
I'm always more because my dad and my dad's wife they are essential workers, so like
Yeah.
it's a lot.
I was working as an essential worker, but without the essential worker perks because nobody cared what the bank was doing, even though we were working hard.
I remember the one day I needed to get like money out for a copay for a doctor's office, and they were like, "We have no money." Everybody took out all their money out of their bank account. I'm like, "Wait, what? I can't pull out $25. What's going on?" I wasn't mad at them. I was just like, "What is going on?"
Things were like the first week. Things were like on fire. Things were on fire for months actually at the bank.
But it feels like
it was bad.
February, beginning of March was when it just.
Yeah, there were cash shortage. There were a lot of cash shortages.
Yeah.
I remember we had like I was lucky I didn't work in person at the branch, but I know people who did, and they had to go meet people in the parking lot to do transactions and stuff. Like
it was nuts. I wasn't upset with the people working at the bank, but I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was they could not get money from the Federal Reserve. It was
there's like 4 within like a mile radius of where my dad lived, where I was living at the time. And none of them had any cash. I was like, oh my goodness. It was a mess.
Not fun time.
No, I do not want to go back there.
Like I said, I usually get the writing bug right before bedtime or when it's still dark in the morning. That happens to me sometimes too, which is why I'm glad I have my phone. I write on Google Docs, so like I'll just pull out my phone and start typing sometimes.
And then when I have time to sit, I'll edit whatever I typed out because it's got like spelling mistakes. So I'm just trying to get it down.
Yeah. And also like I have Discord pages for my works in progress. I saw somebody talk about setting that up like last year.
I didn't know you could do that. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw somebody say set up a Discord for your WIP like last year on Twitter, and I did, and it's so helpful because any stupid little idea I get, like I have like a whole tab that just says random scene ideas, and I jot it out.
So is it your private, like just your private Discord? It's not. Okay.
Yeah. I just created a Discord. I'm the only member, and I put random stuff in there. Like I have like tabs for like the good guys, and I have tab for the bad guys, and
or like character sheets that you're making for your character or something.
Yeah, like different. Like the good guys is just like has paragraphs of character information for like the different characters.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it helps me stay organized, and you can access the Discord anywhere. So like regardless of where I'm writing, I can pull up those details.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such a good idea. I might snag that idea.
Yeah, like once you said to do it, I'm like, wow, this is actually very helpful rather than me putting it all, trying to write it all in a notebook.
Yeah. And that's my biggest, I have naturally really big handwriting. So like physically writing for me is not the smartest because I have really big blocky handwriting. That is the one thing I'm like the most self-conscious with because having CP and it affects your muscles, it affects how I can write. So like I try to do I don't know if you know this program, but it's called Dragon Naturally Speak. So like it's connected to my computer and I can just speak it and then fix it if I need to. If it got something wrong, like I can edit in them.
Yeah, I have an author friend who's trying one of those programs out now where like she's like it's just easier for her to be able to talk it out, like what she's writing, and then go in and fix.
Yeah. Yep.
So she's doing that right now on her book, and she said it's helping her get the book
and
out.
I highly recommend it if you have issues with your hands. Like I know a lot of authors that use it have carpal tunnel and stuff like that.
I'm bad. I got out of bed at 12, but I did work out. Hey, you worked out, and
Hey, take a win when it's a win,
yeah.
and rest when you can.
The only reason why I haven't been getting out of bed at 12 is because I specifically set my alarm to get up by 10 o'clock. Since
Yeah,
since I'm currently not working,
you want
I
to stay in a
I
schedule.
want to like not sleep all day long. So
Yeah.
if I wake up at least by 10, I'll be out of bed before 12 and moving around.
The other day, it was raining so hard here that like my boyfriend let me sleep. I thought it was like 4 in the morning. I look at my clock and it said 11 a.m. I was like, why'd you let me sleep that late? He's just out here doing his stuff on his computer for work. And I'm like, I come out here, why'd you let me sleep that late? You were tired. But still.
Yeah, and I'm like an insomniac too. So like I still
Right.
just set my alarm. I try to get up at like by 10 o'clock just so I can be semi-productive
Yeah.
and do something.
That's why I try to get out of bed and like make my coffee or make my tea by like 9:30. So I can.
Yeah, that too. I have to make my tea.
Yeah.
And so that's going to take me a little bit of time too to actually get up and moving. So buy the oven ready noodles or get the authentic noodles. That is good when you add Italian cheese mozzarella mix it. Only when you're about to put it in the oven.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my aunt uses the oven ready noodles.
My grandmother would put her Italian cook stamp of approval on that one. She's like, take the win when you can get it. If you can get oven ready noodles or like puff pastry that's already made, take it because it takes so long.
Right after Christmas, I went to this Italian market here, and it was so like I had one of the sandwiches. It was so good.
I know what
Like
I know what one you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of Russo's.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
My uncle shops there all the time.
with the little granny in
Yeah.
she does the sandwiches. Oh my gosh, the sandwiches are huge because I had a half a
So good.
sandwich. So good.
That is one thing I miss is like the good crusty Italian bread. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like down here you can't get bread like that, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, like you don't have like all the Italians.
No, like
Like it.
no. And then people that say they're like, you go to certain restaurants and they say they're Italian, and I'm like, no, you're not. Um, not that I'm making fun of it, but it's just like the one guy had a cheesesteak. What do you call it? Like a food truck, and he's like, yeah, I lived in Philly for 4 months. I'm like, sir, I lived
4 months.
outside of I lived outside of Philly my whole life. This is not a cheesesteak. Like you have no right, sir. Sorry.
No,
Oh,
being able to get like the good stuff, like the good food, is
yeah.
definitely hard.
I go to this one restaurant. It's like it's 45 minutes from me, but it's worth it because the guy is from Philly and he gets all the bread shipped from Philly. So it's all like the good bread that you can't get down here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to go as often because it's so far away, but it's so good when I can.
Yeah, and then even like the little things like we did a charcuterie board um for New Year's Eve, and we got like the Italian like the
Yeah,
cheese
we
stuff.
do the same thing.
And my
Yeah,
mom went. That's why we went to the Italian market because we wanted to get the good olives.
the good olives, the good olive oil, all the
Yeah,
good stuff.
so we're making her.
Sorry, sorry, Fiona, but it's so good. And my grandmother found a lot of people don't like blue cheese, and I know it's weird,
Oh,
but I
I
like it.
am a blue cheese person.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry if you don't like blue cheese. I love blue
I
cheese.
love blue cheese. I put it on literally everything. Like those blue cheese stuffed
I
olives
used
are
to
the
put it
best.
on everything. I just don't buy it as much because nobody else probably eats it. So like I would literally have to eat it on myself. But I remember when I was in college, they used to do the personal pan pizzas, and I would always get the buffalo chicken with blue cheese on top.
Extra blue cheese. I love it. Like
I
those
used
blue
to make
cheese
her
stuffed
like
olives are the best.
I
Ah,
love
they're so good.
blue cheese.
I'm not alone because everybody thinks I'm weird because I love blue cheese.
No, I love blue cheese. I know like a lot of people are just like no. Like my mom is
Yeah,
like
my
if she
mom is like,
doesn't
that's
like a lot of
disgusting.
cheese,
Get it away from
she
me.
does not like blue cheese.
Yeah, I definitely got my love of blue cheese from my dad because my mom's like, "That's disgusting. Get it away from me."
Macy's has to go back to work, but she'll be lurking. I have 40 minutes left to go tell the bees that I'm gone. Well, I hope you finish soon.
How is that? Because yeah, a lot of everyone that I know that reads the series was like, they DNF'd it in that book.
I don't know what that series is, so I'll have to look it up.
Outlander.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the last book that just came. I want to say it came out 2 years ago in Outlander, book number 9, and they're huge because I have them all, and they're huge. I mean, I know they're problematic, but I enjoy them, and I see that they're problematic, but I started reading them when I was like in college, before like BookTube and stuff.
I am like my bookshelf is a mess right now. I have so many books double stacked. I'm
That's
like
my problem.
do another unhaul again to get rid of the books that I have no interest in reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go through, and if it's been sitting on my shelf for more than a year and I have no interest whatsoever in picking it up, I'm gonna get rid of.
That's what I'm at. I'm like,
the ones that I read and I was meh about, I'm about to get rid of those too.
Remember the one night I texted you really, really late. I'm like, is it bad that I'm getting rid of this book because I haven't heard anything about book 2 and it's been like 2 years and it's like I gave it 3 stars. And I gifted it to a friend who's loving it, which is great.
Yeah, like if I didn't give it a 4 or a 5 and I don't ever see myself picking it back up again, it just like it's taking up space on my shelf and I need that shelf space.
That's where I'm at. Like if it's not a favorite of all time, or like I still have books that like can't really talk about now because they're problematic, but like they were gifted to me because they came from my grandfather who's no longer here and stuff like that. Like, and he had a little note in it for me. But other than that, I keep the sentimental ones and I have like favorites of all time. And that's it. I'm trying to get down to that.
You know, I have heard this, KK, about the Cali soul food and barbecue places. People say they are not good at all out there. So
I would be
for you.
I would be afraid because I grew up eating the proper stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because like where I grew up, there we're right down the street.
Yes, like I've heard that the
that's another thing.
California has great Mexican food and Asian food. The other stuff I heard it's not that good. Ooh,
Yeah,
and I don't
like pizza in California is a no go.
I can't go to a barbecue place where there's tiny portions. Nope.
No, you need to come. When you come down here, I will take you to the proper barbecue joints.
Yeah.
There's only 2 that I go to. And all the rest of them are eh. And for the price, like no.
Mm-hmm.
With how expensive it is.
He said blue cheese grew on me and now I love it. It is fantastic. Yes, blue cheese on pizza is so good.
I love I used to, speaking of college days, they used to make this pizza with, it was like a white pizza with no meat on it. With pesto and goat cheese. I ate it.
Yeah,
I ate it like once a week. It was my favorite thing.
And a little balsamic glaze.
Yep. It was my favorite thing.
Oh, that's my type too.
I grew up eating like roasted red peppers on pizza, like yeah. And everybody's like, "Ew, you eat that?" I'm like, "Yeah. Just give it to me and give me a spoon."
I love Mexican food too. I just don't like going to like the chains. Like,
no,
we actually have some we have a lot of pretty good like small Mexican restaurants here. Like lots of different taquerias, and most of them are on the same around the same area.
You're making my mouth water because I can't get really good tacos anymore.
So like I'm my cousin, like she loves to go to Chipotle, and I'm like, why? We have such great Mexican places here. I'm like, there's even a Mexican place now that does like that opened a couple years ago, and they do like make your own bowl, and build your own burrito. So
I know it's not Mexican, but you'll recognize it. It's only in New Jersey and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Honey Grow.
Yes, they did just.
Oh, they're so good. I miss them so much.
Opened a Honey Grow near me a couple months ago, so I actually had
It's
it for
so
the
good.
first time.
Like the same thing. You can make your own bowl, like noodle bowl thing, and I used to go because it was right next to my doctor's office, so I used to go once every like 3 weeks.
Yeah, they actually just opened a Honey Grow near me.
So good.
And we're your parents to send us some sauce.
I miss like I don't know if I'm gonna say it right. Is it pupusas?
Yes, pupusas. I love pupusas, and we have a truck like a couple blocks away from me that makes good pupusas.
My mom started working for a restaurant not too far from where I live, but the family is from where you're from. And they were like, we make pupusas. I'm like, I will be there the minute you open up. Trust me. I miss it so much.
Lucy says, I'm ready to finish the series. I think if book 10 is not the final book, I'll DNF the series and just
It's
read
supposed to be. I think, but that's what I'm curious about because they're ending the show this season. The current season that's out, they're ending. The show's ending. So I'm curious where book 9 and book 10 are going to leave off because they'll be published after the season comes out. So
yeah, I prefer mom and pop restaurants, or like if I can, to go eat. They like the portions are just better, the food tastes better.
yeah, I'm used to mom and pop, and I live in an area that's not at all. Everything is a chain, and I'm just like, you're killing me.
And food trucks. Where I am, I only have food trucks like special events. But then I like when you go to Philly and you can find food trucks all over the place.
Oh, there's this one. What is that? It's a park in Philly. You'll know what I'm talking about with all the hammocks.
I think I've walked past that park.
Yeah, and they always used to have this one bow truck that would be outside the park before you walked in, and they had this like roasted pork bow bun thing. Oh, so good.
I like burrito tacos too.
You're gonna make me order some like cheap Mexican because I'll be so hungry.
Lisa says she has not watched the series since season 1 ended.
Yeah, that's fair. I just like looking at Sam Heughan because he's beautiful. Yeah, I have a hard time with the amount of. I have to say though, the one positive with the show is it tamps down as much as like it's not. There's not as much sexual assault as there is in the book because it's like in every book.
Ooh, so that's something to look out for.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just waiting until the clock hits 3, and then we'll do another 30-minute.
That's good. Yeah, perfect.
All right, so let's go ahead and do another 30-minute. See you guys in a little bit. All right. So, how did everybody do that round? That round, instead of like working on the story, I was working on an interview, like the questions I was writing. I went back to it and I like to do a little bit of research on an author when I'm gonna prep for an interview. So I look over their bio, try to figure out what I can find about their writing background, even if it's not like books, to see like what questions I can ask them. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was still on mute. I apologize. I always like to do the same thing because it always leads to more conversation, I feel like, while you're having the conversation.
Yeah, so like this one is just going to be a blog interview, so it's just going to be very straightforward questions. But I like to ask them a variety of things, not just the same ones that people ask them all the time. So like I'll look at their past interviews too to see what they asked them. So make sure like I'm trying to throw in some different questions in there for them too.
Yeah. I always like to throw like a curveball, like PL I've interviewed before because we talked about book one on my channel. And his mom she never published, but she used to write romance novels. So he loves, even though he's a high fantasy author, we talk about romance all the time, him and I.
That's cool. He says that's good to do some background investigation. Yeah, because like some of the authors too, like I interview, like some of them it might be their first book, but they've written for various magazines and different publications and stuff, so they have a lot of extensive writing experience.
Yeah,
and they can talk a little bit about that, or they might have like written IP before or something, and then this is their first like book, like that's their own work.
Yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of authors lately. Like they're new authors to me, but like they've written for Star Wars or they've written for, I'm trying to think of other tie-in novels.
Lots of Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel. Yep.
And then just like IP in general, like a lot of there's like they got the opportunity from their agent, they might write IP first.
Yeah.
For some various publication.
A friend sent me, because I had it on my wish list, the Buzz Lightyear tie-in novel that you talked about on your channel. I was really excited. I was like, yay!
Yeah, and she has a YA book coming out this year.
Does she?
Yes. There's this The Poisons We Drink that's on my January TBR.
I have it on my, that's one of the only pre-orders I have this year is that book. That's awesome. The cover is gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen the cover yet, but the cover is gorgeous.
Yeah, I the cover. But yeah, that's one of my books like to read this month. I haven't started it yet. I need to start it by next week.
Yeah.
So that I can get that read before the end of the month, because fantasy takes me a little bit longer. And that's a little chunky.
Same. Hence why I'm reading this now, because I know it's going to take me longer.
Yeah, so I need at least a full week.
Yeah. At least.
All right, so I think that was my last sprint for today. I am getting hungry, so I'm gonna go get something to eat.
Go eat something delicious.
Do you have any other special announcements or anything you want to make before you head out?
No, I'm trying to think. I will be participating in Shay's Missy Elliott Readathon for February. The discussion will be February 3rd on my channel. And I guess I can announce this even though it's not my channel. We're changing up the book club a little bit to give ourselves more time to mood read. So we're doing these things once a month. They're still going to be live shows, but they're going to be, we call them tackling the TBR, where we basically, everybody from our book club who comes basically talks about whatever they're reading. We're not talking about one specific book.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So that's the 24th, this upcoming Wednesday.
All right. I don't have anything special coming up right now. I'll be around. Like, I probably won't do another like big video till the end of the month, but keep an eye out for some small ones.
I love your little like clip vlogs that you do on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm pretty active on Instagram if you need Rex. Like, I'm constantly over there posting stuff.
And if you're looking for books for the young people in your life, you need to check out your Instagram. That's how I get all this stuff from my younger siblings.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.
Bye.